Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unarmored Talk podcast, where we will have real life conversations that helps you develop an accurate way of thinking. And where we're going to do this is by gaining a better understanding of how emotions, feelings, and thoughts can influence the outcome of a personal or professional challenge. I'm your host, Mario P. Fields, and today's guest is Wanda Cooper. She's a director of community impact at United Way. She's a board member. She's in a doctoral program for organizational change and leadership at the University of Southern California. But most importantly, she's a mother. She's a wife. She's a servant leader. She's amazing. She even inspires everyone in her neighborhood. Wanda Cooper, welcome to Unarmored Talk podcast.
I'm still working on inspiring the neighborhood, but thank you. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Well, again, thank you for removing your armor to come on the show. And can you please tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So thank you for having me. Definitely excited to have this conversation with you. A little bit about myself. So, wow, that's a loaded question, but I'll try to narrow it down. My goal is to ensure that everyone uses their voice to advocate for their needs and their desires. So with that being said, you can only imagine how much trouble that has gotten me into. But really, if I had to just say who I am someone who has been through tremendous difficulty because of somebody else's words and feelings, and someone's I don't know if it's an implicit or explicit bias, but due to someone's meanness, it really, I would say it was a dream delayed for me, and immediately changed the trajectory of me acknowledging and really pouring into myself and reaching my full potential.
Wow. Well, let's jump right into the topic. I mean, you mentioned some mean words, right? Some selection of words directed towards you. And if I recall, you were at a young age when you got these words. Let's talk about what was said. Paint the picture for us.
Sure. So I, very young, I would say it started probably in kindergarten.
Wow.
But I was, full of energy, very creative, and I believe because of my imagination, I was very talkative. So I got in trouble a lot because I did not fit the student, the Americanized version of a student where you sit at a desk and you listen and you only talk when you're spoken to, and you knew all the answers to all the questions, right? So that was not me. I was a social butterfly. And so I did not necessarily pay attention to the teacher. So I didn't have the answers when they asked. And then the other piece to that was really, I would say, what we know now to be implicit biases, right? We know that people tend to have a stereotypical belief of certain people.
Right.
And society has perpetuated a lot of the stereotypes for people of color. So as a young Latina girl, I would say that I probably fit right into someone's stereotype of Latinos in the 70s and 80s.
Right. Wow. And I can relate to you because when people talk to me and they hear this deep voice and then they see me, they think I'm 6 foot, and then they see me, they look down like, man, you about as tall as my child. But so I agree with you that there's a lot of stereotypes. But so here you are now. You're in kindergarten. You're full of energy. You're Latina, right? So I'm assuming. I'm not going to assume. I believe that there weren't that many Latinas in your kindergarten class.
Right.
So your behavior is not similar to the rest of the students. I must say.
I definitely stood out. Again, I was talkative. Is what if you look at all my report cards in elementary school, the teachers' comments, it was always too talkative. I mean, that was a given. My mom already, knew that was coming. I'll tell you a quick story. One day I was put into a corner because I was talking too much and being distracted. And the teacher said that I started talking to myself. So, talk about resiliency, right? I was already learning how to cope. So that must have been my coping strategy. It's like, well, if I can't talk to anybody else, and I'm put to stand in the corner facing the wall, I'll talk to myself, right? So that kind of behavior started really becoming what they would call behavioral issues. And
Right.
so I was called dumb. And the reason why, and I remember it distinctly, and I was in kindergarten, and I was put in the corner because I was talking and I was distracting everyone from getting their work done. And I was like, wow, okay. Now I'm in kindergarten. So immediately, have you ever been punched in the stomach and you're out of breath?
Right.
That's immediately what I felt. I felt like someone just gut punched me, and I was left in the corner to figure out how to breathe again.
Wow. So this is the teacher who's supposed to be an example,
Yeah.
who I
Who
believe
was fed up with me, apparently.
is supposed to motivate the next generation.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she takes you to a corner and says you're dumb because you can't stop talking per se.
Right. And so that was how our relationship really began to, I would say, shift. And it was every day after that, it was really being singled out. If I said anything, if I did anything that she deemed wasn't good behavior, then it was a problem, right? So I spent a lot of time in the corner facing the wall. I spent a lot of time being picked on by the other kids, being called dumb because they heard her say what she said.
Right.
And so, that was part of I would say the foundation of me not having faith in myself, faith in my knowledge and my skills and my God-given talent. And it was dehumanizing. Now, I didn't know that as a kindergarten. I didn't know I was being dehumanized, and I didn't know the effect that it would have on my life. But that really started, I would say, the foundation of, feeling worthless, feeling dumb, believing that I was dumb,
Right.
and not having ambition. And it killed my creativity. And I remember having this vivid imagination and even telling myself, to tone it down. Like, oh, well, you'll never do that. You'll never be able to do that.
Wow.
Because of the word that, of how I was being treated and what I was being told I was. Now, a kindergartner their brain is still developing, right? You're very vulnerable. You're influenced very easily. So that was something that I would say, if taken care of immediately, maybe it would have saved me some headaches in my life. But it was fed, and the word dumb, I heard that multiple times throughout my elementary career, and then as an adult, well, I would say as a teenager, when I fell in love for the first time, I was called ghetto by my boyfriend for a very, very long time. And so, imagine you already think you're dumb, right?
Right.
And you're not doing well in school because I gave up. What was the point? I was dumb.
Right.
I didn't have to read. I didn't have to do homework. I didn't have to pay attention because that wasn't for me.
Right.
Because I was dumb. So, unfortunately, I did not do well in elementary. I did not do well in middle school or high school because I believed the title that I was given very early on.
That is interesting. And when you started to grow in life, and go down this journey called life, every time you thought about that word, what emotions did you experience? I remember you said when she first said it, you felt like you got the wind pretty much knocked out of you. But what other emotions, as you grew as an adult, a young teenager, an adult, that you experienced when you just considered, you thought, man, I think I'm still dumb?
Yeah, I would say that I was depressed for a very long time. I just didn't understand that I was depressed, and my desire to do things was, I didn't really have an excitement,
Right.
about doing anything. And then the other piece is that I also lived in a world where I thought of everything negative, or I thought that the outcome of everything would be negative. So that way I didn't get myself excited over anything. Right.
Right.
So my mindset was, I'm not worthy. And even if I wanted to do something, I'm not going to be able to accomplish it because I don't have the brain power.
Right.
And so therefore, what's my value? Right. So for a long time, it was, just kind of living. And I had several dark moments in my life as a young child and as a young adult. Several dark moments where I thought, "What's the point? What is truly the point?"
Right.
So, yeah, definitely impactful.
Yeah, and so now a lot of us start off when you're young in kindergarten, and it's all Mario, right? You're doing great.
Yeah.
Even though the picture you just drew is horrible, but it's don't worry about it.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh no worries. This is on Unarmored Talk, Wanda, no worries. But here it is. You're supposed to be in this space of life where people are cheering for you.
Right.
You're just a kindergartner,
Right.
and you got to start off with an adult who is being paid.
Yes.
Being paid to inspire achievement academically, personally, and professionally. And she starts off your life with, you know what, you're dumb. And then to listen to how you've managed to deal with these emotions and that the impact of that statement as you gotten older is just amazing. So now tell me, Wanda, what was the point or the event that you said, I'm not dumb? Because I'm looking at your accomplishments, and it had to occur. Well, yeah. I mean, so talk to us about at what point did you go, you know what? Mr. or Miss Teacher and boyfriend, I'm not dumb. I'm a beautiful Latina. I'm smart as beyond you all, and watch me run this race of life. When did that happen?
So that boyfriend became my husband. Not today, but back then.
It doesn't matter.
So, and I say that specifically because when we believe we are something, we seek people to perpetuate that or to continue to deposit that, right? So I believed I was dumb. So therefore, of course I went to someone who fed that message, right? Well, you're ghetto. Oh, you're so ghetto. Because yeah, I was about that life. For real,
Yeah.
but it was a defense mechanism, right? I didn't want anybody to know how dumb I was. So I was raw. I was very raw. And I also realized now that I was very angry. So what I gave off was aggression because I did not want anybody to get close enough to realize how dumb I was.
Wow.
Right? So I would say what turned that around? Well, I got divorced because I finally said, I'm not doing this anymore. And that was a turning point in my life because now I had to look in the mirror every day and figure out who I was.
Right.
And what I wanted to do, how I was going to raise my daughter and my son, and how am I going to live, right? And then I've just had the awesome blessing of always working in a nonprofit field and helping others. And in that process of helping others, I realized what a big hypocrite I was being. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was working in a supportive housing program for single women with children. And there was a one young lady that we were working for her to get her GED, and she finally, passed her GED, and she was so happy. And she came to my office. She was like, Miss Wanda, I finally did it. Thank you so much. I did it. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. That's so great. And I said, now college. Now we got to figure out, you got to apply for college. What do you want to be when you grow up? Just started to have, I was so excited, probably more excited for her than I probably ever was for anything for myself. Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not college smart. She was like, I just barely got my GED. I'm too stupid for college. Boom. I was staring at Wanda.
Wow.
And I was like, holy crap. Now, up to that point, I had done really well in my career, and it was because I had busted my behind, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be the smartest person. Ironically, I'm going to be the smartest person. I'm going to work the hardest. And to me, being smart was working, because that's what I grew up seeing in my dog. And, you know, she would always give us a decent living, right? So that's what I was doing. I was just on the grind, just working, and trying to do the best I can in everything that landed on my desk. And when I heard her say that, I was like, "You're not stupid. Where are you getting that from? Look at what you just did." I'm celebrating her. I'm pouring into her. I'm empowering her. And she goes, "Well, where did you go to college?" I said, "Well, I haven't gone to college. I never went to college." She goes, "Well, why not?" And I literally looked at her and I said, "Because I thought I was stupid."
Wow.
That's why. And she couldn't believe it, right? To your point, you see someone, you know, that you believe, you know, so, oh, highly successful, you know, great person, you know, is always working in the community, highly involved in the community. They have to have it all together, right?
Right.
There's no way that this person has any insecurities. Well, I did. And at that moment, I felt like a huge hypocrite. And at that moment, I said, "You know what?" And I said to her, I said, "It's so hypocritical of me to tell you to go to college, and yet here I am, you know, not doing the same." I said, "But we're going to sign up for college together." She was like, "No, you're not going to do that." I said, "Yes, I am. Yep, we're going to sit here. We're going to look for colleges. We're going to sign up together, and we're going to make this happen." And that's pretty much, that was a turning point. Now, that doesn't mean that my life was hunky dory, and
Right.
I didn't still hear those recordings, but that was the impetus to really to my journey and to where I am today.
Wow. That's, that's interesting how all these years, you've dealt with the emotions and feelings associated with that major event in your young life. And then you go through your ups and downs with right challenges while living, through marriage, through divorce, starting to understand that, I'm better than what people say I am, but still, how do I figure this out? And then you essentially run into you.
Yes, exactly.
And you essentially run into you. And
God is funny, right? He got a sense of humor.
wow. And then that, that motivates and inspires you to start thinking more accurately, to go, I am not dumb, and what is dumb, right? That's an inaccurate way of thinking, but we know how that happened to you. And to change not just your life, but many lives, to where we are today. And I agree with you. I mean, I would have never known. When I looked at your LinkedIn profile, I'm looking at your accomplishments. I would have never thought that this interview would have revealed that your life challenge started in kindergarten and lasted. It still lasts to this day. I mean, you still deal with it, but really, really, really changed your behavior all the way up to today.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
And let me say, when I did start college, I've always gotten A's. So I say that to say, not to brag, but when we don't pour into individuals, and when I say pour into, it sounds like such a cliche, but empowering words, positive words, solution-oriented conversations, asset reference, not deficit reference, right? Yeah. When we truly want to take someone on a journey that's going to impact their life positively, it has to be an authentic desire for you to do that. Mm. When I entered college, I went to Empire State, SUNY Empire State College. And one of the things, the reasons why I chose that college is because they have what we call prior learned experience, where they give you credit.
Right.
Now, I had worked for a very long time in human services, and I was in a leadership role. Even with a high school diploma, I was in a leadership role because I worked so hard and I did well. I was able in that college to talk about my lived experiences. Right? I was able to challenge some courses so that I can, get some college credits. Now, me becoming a straight A student was almost like a drug.
Right.
I got my first A and I was like, what? What? Who is this professor? And what rubric are they using to grade me? Because there's no way I got an A. But it was like a drug. I was like, I got an A? I got an A? Wanda got an A? It was a wrap after that. That A pushed me to believe in myself. That A showed me that I am not dumb. That A showed me that I do have potential. That A showed me that I am worthy, that I am valuable, that I do have a purpose. And so for me, it was about, it was about a new life, a new lease on life. And that I had the ability to enter in that academic field,
right,
and really, really be successful and learn a lot, but also, use my lived experiences to help others through their journey as well.
No, what an amazing journey, ladies and gentlemen. Wanda Cooper, you just inspired me. So I'm gonna see if I could go find 6 books after this podcast interview and read them as fast as I can. ADHD, that's a struggle. But no, honestly, what if there's any last remarks that you would like to leave our listeners and viewers, what would it be?
Ooh. It's it really is that we have such power over, how we impact individuals that we encounter and that we interact with. And especially now, during after the last 4 years of craziness in our world, and I'll say that bluntly, after the last 4 years of utter craziness, and also dealing with a pandemic, we have to show kindness and love towards one another. And your success is my success, right? And I think we've lost that. We've lost that sense of, if someone succeeds, we all succeed. So I would say, stay away from people if you have nothing positive to give.
Nice, I like it.
And definitely, if you are in a helping or mentoring position, make sure that your crap doesn't become somebody else's crap.
No, good words of wisdom. You can invoice me next week, but ladies and gentlemen, Wanda Cooper, if anyone wanted to find you, how can they find you?
LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yep, Wanda Cooper.
Wanda Cooper at LinkedIn.
Yep.
This has been amazing. Again, I will continue to put effort towards the words I select and choose towards people. And I hope that when the listeners and viewers see this and they share this, that folks will do the same, and they'll continue to share kindness and show kindness to each other, especially in this midst of challenges over the last 4 years and the pandemic. But ladies and gentlemen, until next time.
One last thing.
You got one? Yeah, go ahead.
One last thing. I know, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, ultimately, you have to be your biggest cheerleader, right? And so even through your down and outs, you still have to believe in yourself. And you have to push yourself forward. So that internal voice that you have to train it to speak to you lovingly, to speak to you in a positive way. Because we're good at telling ourselves what we suck at and what we're not good at. But train your inner voice to love you, to cherish you, to value you, and to continue to pour into you.
Yeah, totally agree. It starts with the person in the mirror. But hey, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you later.